For a long time, people believed that Napoleon destroyed the nose of the Great Sphinx of Giza in Egypt. Those who have studied the subject know this never happened, but the real question is, why did people believe it for so long? Let's start with the first time Napoleon and the Sphinx met. The Great Sphinx of Giza has stood for more than 4,000 years, right next to the pyramids of Egypt, as one of the most unique monuments of human history. In 1798, Napoleon invaded Egypt as part of his war against Britain. His goal was to cut off trade routes to India and expand French influence in the Middle East. This expedition became one of the most important events of his life and of the final years of the French Revolution. It was at this very moment that the legend appeared. Napoleon was said to have used his cannons to fire at the Sphinx, aiming directly at its nose, leaving behind a mark of French power and his personal presence in Egypt. But here is the problem. Napoleon was passionate about history. He admired the Roman Empire and collected ancient artifacts from across Europe. In fact, one of the greatest contributions to archaeology happened during his Egyptian campaign, the discovery of the Rosetta Stone, which later unlocked the key to understanding ancient languages. Simply put, Napoleon would never have fired at a historical monument. So where did this idea come from? Most likely from the context of the time. Napoleon led France at war with nearly every major power in Europe, and in the end, he was defeated. For his enemies, he was the villain of the story, and as in every war, propaganda was essential. The public needed to believe the enemy was immoral, disrespectful, and detestable. This is when the story spread, especially in Britain, Napoleon's greatest rival. Over time, it became rooted in European imagination throughout the 19th century. So how do we know Napoleon didn't do it? The answer is simple. There are countless pieces of evidence, paintings, drawings, and travel accounts made long before Napoleon that already show the Sphinx without a nose. For example, in 1737, the Danish explorer Frederik Norden made detailed drawings of the Sphinx, clearly showing the nose already gone. Napoleon hadn't even been born yet. So if not Napoleon, then who destroyed the nose? The most likely culprit was a religious fanatic in the 14th century. Historical accounts tell us that in 1378, a man named Mohammed Sahl in Madar was outraged that local peasants were making offerings to the Sphinx. Believing this was idolatry, he attacked the monument with a hammer, permanently damaging its face. And the nose wasn't the only thing the Sphinx lost over time. Originally, the statue also had a ceremonial beard, as a symbol of pharaonic power, which eventually broke off. Fragments of this beard are now kept in the British Museum and the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. Archaeologists also believe the Sphinx was once painted in vivid colors, with traces of red, blue, and yellow still found on its surface. The Great Sphinx has endured dramatic changes through the centuries, but none of them were caused by Napoleon. In fact, what he left behind was not damage, but one of the greatest myths of all time.